Dave Michaels.
Good morning, MZ.
You are such a positive influence on me.
What happened?
And I want to thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Well, I mean, who doesn't like compliments? It kind of works in a circle, MZ. Positive attitude keeps other people positive, and then it just kind of feeds on itself. Like negativity does the same thing. Positivity, if that's what you put out there.
Negativity is not permitted on this radio station.
It is not allowed.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. So, no, here, can you hear? You can see what I'm doing. I wonder if the listeners can guess what I'm doing.
Same thing I'm doing.
Right. Right.
That's
what I'm talking about.
Right.
I could see. I've been peering at you through the glass window here at the radio station, and I realized right then and there that you are a man who is the real deal, who practices what he preaches. And that made me feel bad that I was probably going to forget to take my BTT again today.
It's a good habit to get into.
It really is, and I don't know why it's so hard for me to make it a part of my life, like getting up and going to the toilet and stuff like that. You know? Because it makes me feel so good every time I have it. And when I don't have it, I feel like bleep.
Right. Well, you know the tangy tangerine packets have the added advantage that it makes it easier to work it into your daily habit, because you can keep these in your glove box. You can keep them at your in your drawer at work, in your drawer in your garage, in your kitchen, wherever it happens to be, in your office. Tangy tangerine packets are a fantastic way to make sure that it's always around, MZ.
And
always.
I think they are incredibly delicious. Has anybody ever told you they don't like the taste of BTT 2.0?
I've heard that a few times, and for them, luckily, there's a 2.5, which is pineapple flavor, and it has more B vitamins, which means it has an extra kick. It gave you your mood an extra kick, an extra boost.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Tangy
cool.
Tangerine 2.5.
And so we have lots of BTT of all varieties, including the original, right?
We are out of the 2.0.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that's on back order.
I thought we have some packets.
We do. Yes, we do have the 2.0 packets.
And to me, the packets are a little more expensive because of, the
convenience.
The convenience factor and the cost of measuring these amounts into the stick packs. But they are so convenient that some people just tear it open and throw it in their mouths and eat the powder. I'm one of those people.
Right.
But it's better to pour it into a plastic bottle of water, and then drink the contents. Do not drink the bottle.
Right, and I always tell people that people who haven't tried it, be sure to drink it slowly. So a big bottle, I mix it with the 1 quart bottle. Takes me several hours to finish it. I tell people to think of it as trickle charging. Right, so the longer you take to drink it, the more your body will absorb it. If you just chug it right down, and it's so delicious that you're going to want to do that.
It is a standard part of your life. You never miss it, and that's why you are so clear-headed. You have no brain fog ever, and you have nothing but energy to go on your hikes all over the place.
Right.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. So all I need to do is just do what you do. And even though I'm 21 years younger than you, older than you, I think this will give me a boost to be more like you.
Well, that's great. And MZ, here's the real kicker. A lot of people know that I do a lot of hiking. And, a few years ago, it's been probably about 20 years now, I injured my back at a cabinet shop and injured 3 discs and ruptured 2 of them and have a 30% disability according to the state of California. But I still go hiking, it doesn't stop me. And
do you attribute it to these products?
It sure couldn't have hurt. I'm very blessed and very thankful. And I imagine if it wasn't for that, what I could do, that would be amazing. But for right now, I'm very thankful to be able to do the things that I do. And a big part of that is because of the tangy tangerine and all the other stuff that we have out there. That's the nice thing of selling that, becoming a distributor and telling your friends about that, MZ. The stuff really works. Yesterday, I sold a canister of Arthrodex to Jerry, and he called me back immediately, and he was so happy. He says, "My dog loves it. My dog loves it, absolutely loves it." He couldn't wait to tell me, MZ. He called me up within 10 minutes and said, "My dog is just blown away by this stuff.
Wow.
We sell fantastic stuff. You've never tried it. Your dog has never tried it. It really works. That's why we have such a big following. And the best place to go, MZ, if you can't make it down to the Dave Cave, is kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com. And or call 218-KSCO and place your order there.
Cool. All right, you're going to be in the Dave Cave until 2 this time. It was curtailed last week.
This week is going to be pretty much the same thing because from 12 to 2 I have to be in the station. But so here's the deal. I'll be out in the Dave Cave until 12 today.
Okay.
So throughout the Saturday special, I'll be out in the Dave Cave. From 2 o'clock till 4 or whatever, I'll be out there for a few more hours later on today. But the short version is I'll put a sign out there. You call or text me, and I'll go out there and meet you, and I'll be out here till 4.
That's an amazing system you've devised.
Right. So just if you get out there and I'm not in the Dave Cave, just call or text or come to the front door. You might have to wait 5 or 10 minutes, but we'll get to you. And I'll be out here till 4 o'clock today. So things a little bit different, MZ, but I'll be in the Dave Cave for sure until 12.
Dave, the octopus.
Yes.
The multitasking human who reminds me more of an octopus.
Right. All right.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to hour number 1 of the KSCO Saturday Special. MZ here with you until 12 noon today on your favorite radio station, KSCO AM 1080, FM 104.1. FM 95.7 and FM 107.9. And, that's all the things we have.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Okay. We're going to have a guest host on the Saturday special today, because I was going to be out of town, but plans changed, as they seem to do more often than not these days. And so here I am in town, so I didn't give away the Saturday special to a wonderful guest host. So here I am. But the plans changed so soon before this that I didn't have an opportunity to do too much prep. But what else is new? Because I rarely do that anyhow. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to open the program with the audio of a little over 5-minute feature video that was done about 29 years ago, shortly after we took over the radio station here at KSCO. And one of the many owners of the cable system, I forgot the name of it. I mean, now it's Comcast. It wasn't back then. There were 2 or 3, interim mega media company owners of what is now Comcast cable television. And cable internet now and so forth. They came and did a feature on KSCO back in 1992, and that's been around, and we've never posted it on KSCO.com, but I figured, hey, better late than never, right? So it's posted there, and I'm going to play it because what else am I going to do on the program today, right? So we'll play it, then we'll talk a little bit about it, then we can talk about other things. I'm fascinated by things in the news about Dr. Fauci is in hot water. I can't say I'm not amused by that. We can also talk about Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, who's suing the hell out of these voting machine companies that he thinks colluded, that he believes colluded to steal the election from Trump. And there's all kinds of things to talk about, including KSCO and me and the future and all these kinds of things. So let's just start by playing the audio of it. And by the way, you can see the whole thing. You can see it and hear it at ksco.com on our website. Anyhow, let's just go play with this thing here. Hello.
In this edition of Highlights, Cruz visits KSCO Radio.
Good morning, a brighter day is here. Good morning.
There's all kinds of
we bring you
old newspaper clippings in the video here.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today you know on KSCO Radio.
Community involvement is what KSCO is all about. It's a news talk radio station for the Monterey Bay Area. It happens to be based in Santa Cruz, and this is such a vibrant community. There are so many things going on. There are so many different people doing different things, and KSCO's job is to reflect accurately and with integrity this vibrant community through the talk radio format, and it's interactive.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
KSCO went on the air September 21st, 1947 at 6 a.m. Our sign-on at that time was 6:15 p.m. and we got through the day without any real boo-boos. The first and only boo-boo was the wrong speed on the transcription of the Star Spangled Banner.
Good morning. This is KSCO, Santa Cruz's own radio station, beginning operations to broadcast programs for your enjoyment. KSCO is owned and operated by Radio Santa Cruz and broadcasts on an assigned frequency of 1080 kilocycles with a power of 1,000 watts.
For 40 years, the Santa Cruz area has depended on KSCO for up-to-the-minute news.
That's the story right now as the Coast Guard comes into play here off the coast of Live Oak. Dick Little reporting.
Up-to-the-minute news from your #1 information station with the great songs. AM 1080, KSCO.
KSCO news time now is 25 minutes before 4 o'clock. This is the KSCO newsroom. It's been my home on and off now for about 30 years here at KSCO Radio. And KSCO has been known as a station that has brought a lot of people through a lot of disasters over the last 35 to 40 years. The flood of 55, the flood of 82, the earthquake of 89. KSCO played a major part in helping people get through these disasters and help them know that there was a lot of people out there that were concerned about their welfare and their general safety.
Anytime the power goes out, everybody tunes into KSCO. I find myself sometimes wishing that the power would go out so our ratings would go up. KSCO was built on Corcoran Lagoon for a very good reason. Vern Berlin selected the site of Corcoran Lagoon because of its electrical characteristics.
We chose the lagoon because at that time you had to be only had a minimum number of houses within a certain distance. It met the requirement. The lagoon was available, and the lagoon gave a better ground system, which meant greater coverage. In fact, we had 1,000 watts when we started. It got out as good as a 5,000 watt station would on dry land.
What's the name of this town?
Santa Cruz.
Have you got a good sound?
Yes, we do.
Well, tell me confidentially, who do most folks listen to?
KSCO Radio.
Mr. Berlin was very active in his acquisition of jingles, and I think he was one of the first broadcasters who used jingles that were specially produced with the station call letters back in the 40s. We have a master reel that has a lot of these treasured jingles from the 1940s and 50s. Most of them refer to KSCO as a music station, music, wonderful music. Every once in a while we might pot it down, and where it says music, we'll say talk, wonderful talk on KSCO 1080. In the 2 years that I've owned KSCO,
KSCO has been built into exactly what I dreamed it could and should be, and that is a very vibrant news talk radio station for the Monterey Bay. And the reason, all the credit goes to the staff. We couldn't have a better staff of people here at KSCO. How often does one get to put into practice a dream that he's had all his life? That's what KSCO is for me.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
Man, that was almost 30 years ago. Special thanks to Covello and Covello Photography. Vernon Berlin, that was a voice that you heard, the founding partner of KSCO. And so there's a nice little historical piece that you can see the entire video. You can see and hear it on demand at KSCO.com. It's about time we put it up there. We've had it for all these years. It played for, I don't know, 6 months or something on the cable TV channel back then. And it was nice publicity for us. Things are a lot different now in the world of media. Oh my God, how things have changed in 30 years. Can you imagine? Back then, a lot of people subscribed to newspapers. There were cable television new networks such as CNN, and I guess CNN was started in the early 80s, I guess, or maybe it was. I remember home box office. HBO started in 1976, and I guess that was back when cable television was coming into its own. And of course, many other networks came into being using cable television as the method, as the way to get through to homes. Back when I was a kid, Santa Cruz had one of the largest cable television systems in the whole country. That was before cable had taken off. And the reason is because we were so close to a major metropolitan area. I'm talking about San Francisco Bay Area, that had, San Francisco stations, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 9. But we couldn't receive any of those over the air because of the mountain shadow. KSCO is, not KSCO, but Santa Cruz is sort of by itself behind a mountain, group in the Santa Cruz Mountains. So back in the 50s when I was growing up, and 60s, you needed to subscribe to something called telescription back then. It was $5.40 a month. And for that, you got more than 2 channels. The only 2, without it, if you had an antenna that was pointed just right, you could receive KSBW TV Channel 8 in Salinas, where they had the Fun Club with Uncle Gary. And I got to be on the Fun Club once when I was probably 4 years old. Or you could receive Channel 11, KNTV, out of San Jose. But the reason you could receive that is because their tower and transmission facility was on the hill at Loma Prieta, which, had line of sight right here into Santa Cruz. Anyhow, God, what a different environment for media, because technology, hadn't kicked into the extent it has now, and now it's just dizzying. There are so many options available to anybody to engage in media, including their own. There are no barriers to entry. If somebody wants to break in to broadcasting, well, they don't need to. They can break in. they can break in through podcasting or blogging, right? In fact, I see, we haven't even opened the phone lines yet, but sure, it's always open, 479-1080 in area 831, or email mz@ksco.com. There is a pretty popular media blogger who has been on KSCO a number of times. He had his own show for a while, and periodically calls in and adds to this program, and it's about to happen again. So let's put Rich on. Rich Lieberman. Hi, Rich Lieberman.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I woke up. It's a good start, right?
Yeah.
It's always a good start when you wake up, no matter who you are. CNN, for the record, CNN began June 1st, 1980. It was a Friday night. I remember exactly where I was, and I was over at the Punchline in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it was a big
comedy
deal.
club, right? Was that a comedy club? And still is,
there.
I think, right?
It's right in the, right on Broadway and Battery. Or if you got in trouble, they used to call it assault and battery. But anyway, right in the media gulch there, right behind the Alcoa building is the big Punchline. Yeah, but I remember the whole big story back then in 1980, and cable had just, as you just pointed out, it barely evolved. But CNN, you can put aside whether you're politics or with CNN or not, but that was
back then. It wasn't political. It was just it was real journalism. Journalism hadn't disappeared as it has today, and actually for decades by now.
Well, you're right. It started out as and everybody was talking because it not only was it the advent of a 24/7 news, but it was also Ted Turner. Jane Fonda, and he was are we still there? Hello?
Rich, there was a little glitch here. We lost the last 10 seconds or so. So why don't you repeat that?
Okay. Well, right. Back then, and I say back then, it seems like yesterday, that people regarded CNN as the beginning of 24-hour news, 24/7 news, and that this was Ted Turner's baby. Ted Turner, of course, was married to Jane Fonda, and he was a communications mega mogul. And I was saying, Ted Turner, what's he involved with this for? And that was when it just first started out. But it was a big deal. You're right. And
it wasn't and it wasn't political. I want to stress that.
No, it was just the opposite. It was apolitical. I don't know if you could get away with saying that anymore these days, but yeah, it was apolitical, and I remember the first anchors were Bernard Shaw. Remember him?
Sure.
And I think they had a guy named Lou Waters, and not the musician, but there was a Lou Waters, and they had a lot of money, or a lot of money back then was what they had, and they they just had their 40-year anniversary last year, 2020. They started, but. In June of 1980, but God, that seems like forever ago. Or seems like yesterday, but it really is 40 years ago, or 41 years now. So,
well, in any case, so media has changed, and you keep the pulse. You keep your thumb on the pulse of media, and your 415 Media blog has been operating for 20 years now, at least, right?
Yeah, and but first off, I want to really, you might want to use this as a promo, because I love the jingles that you just used. I love the fact that KSCO is first and foremost a community asset, and I love the fact that, when there's, God forbid, earthquakes and fires and natural disasters, I love the old-fashioned radio stations that truly are a community asset to their respect.
You would know this. Are there many others besides KSCO?
No, there really isn't. Well, I surf the. You probably know this station, MZ, but there's a station in New York. It's based in Long Island, and they play oldies. They're 24/7. Speaking of 24/7, and they're truly the old-fashioned. It's a little. I don't even remember the call letters, but it's a little oldie station out of New York, Long Island. I think you could just Google 24/7 oldies station, Long Island. But they do the old-fashioned radio like you do, except that they play music primarily. They do a lot of 60s and 50s music, and they intersperse it with commentary and DJs that are actually live in the studio, right?
Wow.
Great.
Does the station make money? That's a big question.
I think it, but they have the little old-fashioned ads, like they have the drive-in ads and the drugstore and the tire store and the car dealership. I think the guy that runs it is like a mega multimillionaire and just does it as a kind of a community asset thing. He doesn't, I think he just, again, he does it because he used to love radio. He still does. But that's the story behind how they're able to operate. But so when I hear that station and then I hear your radio station, I think very much similar. We don't have many of those left. They're kind of like the, remember when you go to the gas station and the guy would come out and fill up your gas?
Yeah. It still happens in Oregon for some reason. I don't know why, but it is the case.
Yeah. So yeah, they're rarities. Because now you have companies and corporations that own a whole bunch of radio stations, and the where I live, the old KGO, they've sort of tried to reinvent it, but it's not the same. Nothing's the same, right? But media has changed. Everything is now podcasts, and you still have so-called press.
You're starting a podcast, to give you a little plug
I am,
here.
and I got.
When's your maiden voyage?
Well, I don't know yet, but I've got 2 mega stars that I got by accident. I don't want to jinx it, but
okay. Well, we'll tease
people.
Look,
I sent you word about it last night. And I
got
can't believe it. Well, I'll tell the origin real quickly because I know you got to go into it's an interesting story. You got a show to do, but I got to know Kevin Pollak really well. The character actor Kevin Pollak.
I'm not real plugged into that.
Okay, do you remember the movie A Few Good Men?
Sure.
Jack
Oh, okay. He was in that. Yeah. Okay.
He played the lawyer for opposite Sam. He was the Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And, everybody knows that from You Can't Handle the Truth, that thing.
Okay.
So he played the lawyer, and he's been in a lot of movies. He was in, he's been in, he's a great character actor, and he's a comedian. And he grew up born and raised in San Jose. And I got to know Kevin at the San Francisco, speaking of the Punchline, the comedy competition. And he put me in if you go online now, MZ and your other listeners, I'm in his book. And all you got to do is Google Kevin Pollak book, and I was responsible for getting him on Larry King. This was back in, years ago. This is when he was just starting out in movies, and his first movie was an Albert Brooks movie. So you got to go in there and read his book, and his book is online, and I'm in the book. And so long story short, he got to know and acted in a movie called The Usual Suspects. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Great. And one of the actors in that, beyond him and Kevin Spacey, and was a guy named Chaz Palminteri. And so Chaz Palminteri is still acting, and in fact has a movie that's coming out soon, but he also does a podcast. Anyway, he had on Billy Joel recently, and you can go on the YouTube channel and pick it up, and I sent you the I hope you watched it.
So you're going to get Billy Joel.
Cross your fingers. But
okay, good. Good.
Yeah,
so
we're going to talk.
Do you plan for your podcast to be interviews with famous people?
Well, even
largely?
Maybe not. Well, as you know, I'm interested in people that I find interesting. So it could be actors, it could be singers, songwriters, people that you like, characters, people like Mort Saul, or people like, God rest his soul, Johnny Carson, inventors, newsmakers, people in the news, I mean, I happen to love Billy Joel just as much as you probably love Phil Collins. Am I right about you loving Phil Collins?
Yeah, that's true. I like him very much. So, well,
Yeah.
that's great. You're gonna all the best to you, Rich. I think let us know when your inauguration is. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll alert you, and maybe we might even have some involvement with you guys. So please,
Who knows?
Have a great Saturday.
All right. Thank
love
you. Appreciate your call. Here's Rory in Watsonville. You want to talk about Fauci and outbreak?
Yeah, but I also wanted to say, well, first of all, thanks to Rich for not telling any of his lame jokes. That was nice. Nice break. If you're listening, Rich, that's heartfelt, by the way. Thanks for playing that. Was that a Comcast interview from '92?
Yeah.
You said?
Well, not the predecessor to Comcast. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
It wasn't called Comcast way back then. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
No, that was nice. A nice retrospective.
And anybody, the video that goes with it is worth watching. So, you can use your smartphone to go to KSCO.com, our station website, and watch it on demand.
Do you appear in the video?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was Mr. Fat Face with dark hair.
Yeah. You know what, though, MZ? Your voice hasn't changed that much. You sound pretty good.
Well,
I had to
thank
stop and
you.
listen for a minute.
I've been told that it's gone up a few octaves because I got older and the testosterone went away.
Huh.
Well,
keep pounding the vitamins.
Okay. You're right.
It's the only way to stay active.
You're right.
Yeah, no, every day.
Good.
Do what Dave said, trickle charge. I just told a friend that today. He was like, God, that stuff's nasty because his wife just got it for him. I said, dude, you got to put it in a quart with ice and water and drink it throughout the day, trickle charge.
Yeah.
So for any guys will know, but yeah, just meter it out, and it's just so much better for you.
Right.
But so yeah, the thing with Fauci. So it's pretty clear now. This guy, not only did he know about this research that was going in that lab, he funded it, and he tried to hide it. And I'm not going to go into all the details. Now, your Vanity Fair actually published. They're a little late to the party, but they've got an article out there now.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah. Now, I want to absolutely. The first time I heard about that lab and the potential for this being a bioweapon was April of 2020 on the Saturday Special. Do you remember that interview? I don't know.
No, I don't. My memory is getting worse by the day.
You need to
another
get
reason
EFA,
reason for me to retire. What? What did you say?
I said you need to get more EFA plus. I know Dave's back.
You're right.
Now,
I do. I do need to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you go back and look at April of last year, 2020. You did an interview. I don't know. I thought it was somebody from the Epic Times. I can't be certain for sure. And he talked about the general lady. It was a woman general in the PLA that went right into that lab as soon as that outbreak occurred.
Yeah.
And secured it. Okay. And so I knew a month after this whole thing kicked off that there was something fishy going on in Red China. And these guys did it. They knew about it. They tried to cover it up. Fauci, the whole time he was on that task force with President Trump, he played dumb. It's called a sin of omission. This guy is responsible for millions of deaths, in my opinion, at least for all the deaths in the U.S., because he tamped down hydroxychloroquine as a therapeutic, and we know it's effective. I don't know about ivermectin, but for sure he tamped down the HCQ to push vaccines. This guy's a rat. And not only that, they knowingly kept this thing going, kept the panic going so they could set up the steal of the election on November 3rd. It's just so clear. So I just curious what others are thinking or reading, because these emails have been out now for a week, and it's just more confirmation of stuff that was already out there. And I recommend everybody go to revolver.com. I think they've got a 3-part series on the number of deaths. It's probably close to 5,000 now that's being reported to the Vaccine Adverse Effects Response something S.
Okay.
Reporting system. Excuse me. And you look at all the previous years going back to 1990s. There's anywhere from 150 to 300 adverse effect vaccine deaths per year. You hit 2021, and at the end of May, it was over 4,500. Okay?
Jeez.
So beware. Yeah, no, beware. Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware.
Are you happy that Mike Lindell is suing the hell out of those
Yes.
voting machine manufacturers?
Dominion voting machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? They went after
And there's
him,
another one too.
because
I
he
think
was
so.
talking.
They wanted to intimidate him and cancel him.
Yes, and not only that.
Do you think
they
he'll
waited forever
intimidate
to
them
sue
and
him.
cancel them instead?
Well, look, get discovery and sort it out in court, right? That's what the courts are there for. And if it's,
Do you think
if it's false,
do
then
you
it'll
think there's
fall
a
on its
good
face.
chance that it will come out that the election was indeed stolen? See, I mean, no
Well,
one's going
I'll
to
tell you
cancel
that. You gotta
me
remember-
while I still have KSCO for me to say that, which is what
Right.
Well,
listen, MZ, that the electronic thing, I'm not as up on that, and that's what Lindell says. He says that the Chinese Communist Party interfered directly with cyber attacks. Now, I don't know, but all the old-fashioned cheating, oh yeah, there's so much. I told you last week, Fulton County, which is going to have a forensic audit in Georgia, just one county in Georgia. Okay, they already know that 950 military ballots came in. They're all mail-in. They were all for Biden.
Yeah.
So that's impossible.
Yep.
I mean, even if they were all for Trump, that would be impossible. You're always going to have some breaking the other way, but they were so desperate to overcome the vote disadvantage that they made mistakes.
Yes.
And it's going to come out. Looks like Pennsylvania's next. Georgia's going to come.
Now, if
They're gonna do
someone
a forensic
disagrees
audit.
with you, Corey,
Please call.
Lori, please
Yeah.
call in 479-1080.
All right.
And I will let you say your
MZ.
piece. I will let you say your
Yeah,
piece,
you keep
even
up-
though you disagree vehemently, possibly with
Yes, of
Rory
course.
or with me. Unlike
We want discourse.
unlike people on the other side who spout off their beliefs. And if someone like me or you who has a different point of view tries to get it through on their platform, you aren't going to be permitted to do so most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes,
that's
and
very,
I'll leave
very
you with
sad. Yeah.
No, and full discourse. Get it all out on the table. And the last thing I'll leave for those that are suspect of these audits, these are forensic audits ordered by the state Senate in these various states who have jurisdiction over the vote. What are you afraid of? Just do the audit. Do the audit, and we'll see. We'll see if it's true or not. Fair enough?
Yes. Sounds
Anyway.
good to me. Thank you for
MD.
calling. Thanks, Rory.
care.
Always
You
great
bet.
to hear from you. Here is Angel in Salinas.
Hi, Michael. I don't feel like such a little angel today.
Why?
I am mad. Well, I'm mad. I'm so glad that this subject came up, and I got some things to share with you and the listeners. We're going to hit the ground running on Fauci. For those of us who know this already, I'm going to share several things with you. And you know I was a medic. For those of us who know this, back in 2017, and I have the video, okay, where Fauci says the next president, we're talking about 2017, not 2018, not 2019, 2017, when they already knew Trump was president, okay? He said, and I quote, the next president is going to have to deal with a surprise pandemic. And he went over some details of some stuff, too, about detailed medical stuff, but he actually said this. Now, the first week that this thing was out, before he even said that, I said this was created in a lab. And people called me crazy. I said this was a biowarfare thing. This was created in a lab. And now we're finding out. And, we have been screaming from the rooftops about this stuff for a long time and have been shut down for years. This is nothing new. We knew these things, okay? Now, the other thing I want to say, and a couple of things. Number one, over 100,000 people die every year from the influenza, the flu. It will take out elderly people. It will take out people with underlying problems. But the key here, the one thing that they forgot, the detail that they forgot to use, and is a serious red flag. If that's then, okay, that's then, I want to say that's then pandemic. This is now, or this is then, or however you want to say it, okay? And the fact is, they use that for something that is not what they're saying it is. Because if it was, and this is the red flag that they forgot to cover, is that if this was such a pandemic, how come our homeless community is so intact? They share crack pipes. They sleep with each other. They do all kinds of stuff. They don't keep social distancing. And I've been watching this over the entire time, okay? If this was such a pandemic, why are they all still alive?
That's a very good point. I can't give.
They forgot about them. No. They think of these people as invisible, and they forgot the one key there. That if they were going to do this, there's no way. These people don't stay clean. I mean, some of them do, but overall, they don't have the facilities to. Okay, and they're not wearing gloves. They're not wearing masks on a regular basis. They thought this whole thing was a joke to begin with, and I sat there at the feeds as a volunteer watching them share crack pipes.
Right. Right. Wow. Okay.
So,
thank you for bringing that up. Okay. We got quite a number of calls here at 479-1080. Angel, always great to hear from you. Yeah, go ahead.
If anybody ever tells you, oh, that's been disproven. No, the video and everything, no, it hasn't. It's evidence. It's right there. They try to bury it from time to time, but you can find them. Okay?
Right.
And we will keep putting them out there. I have it on my phone. I've saved it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for calling 479-1080. Here's Marshall in Watsonville. Marshall, welcome to KSCO. You're on.
Wow, that was pretty heavy. I just wanted to pay my I just heard yesterday because I was golfing on Saturday, and I caught your show on Friday.
Oh, yeah. The replay of the last week's Saturday special.
Oh, man. That guy put up with me for so long.
You're like talking about Dr. Corey Gold, who was a great talk host.
Corey Gold.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy was funny, and he put up with me, and he said that I was very funny before, which was a great compliment for me.
Because you're not
because
characterized
I'm the
as funny.
KSCO ever.
No. Now, you're fishing for compliments like I always do, it sounds like.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Sure, I always fish for compliments because I don't, I can't get enough of them. I live and breathe and eat and sleep for compliments.
All right.
Anyhow, I was listening to Corey Gold. The clip I played of him, he was doing a rant.
I remember that show
on about the day after Senator Ted Kennedy passed, and it wasn't very complimentary towards Kennedy. And some people said that it was very, very poor taste that I ran that clip when I could have run other clips. Well, that's his probably most famous clip. But last week I happened to come across some other really good moments with Corey Gold's radio show. Do you remember Rebecca Costa?
Yeah, and she loved to hang up on me. Yeah.
And Corey Gold, there was a piece where Rebecca met Corey on Corey's show.
Dude, I was on that show.
She told me afterwards that she felt like she needed a shower after being on that program.
Because I was going, not your mama.
Wow. There's so much.
Dude,
I need to send everything we can find on Corey to his family because they'll really appreciate that. Yeah, well, thanks for calling and reminding us that and registering your honor here. So.
And before we go, I'd like to thank. Before you go, dude, that sucks. But
I have to go. I have to go. But again, I'm hoping to do an occasional Saturday special. In the future, if the new people running KSCO will have me, they might want to change things totally,
How about a joke?
Okay, go.
Okay, so Tiger Woods drives off the freeway across a median, goes into a ditch, never takes his foot off the gas pedal, but he's revered as there was nothing wrong with him. And even though previously his wife was bashing in his car window with a golf club,
I remember,
and he was passed out on Ambien. But did you hear about the guy that killed his wife with a golf club?
No.
So the cops show up and they ask, "How many times did you hit her?" He says, "I was supposed to be golfing today." So how many times did he hit her? He says, "I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 times. Put me down for a 5."
Okay. All righty. Thanks for sharing that wonderful joke here on the Saturday special. Amy Howe. Hi, Amy Howe. You're on the air.
Hi.
How are you
Hi.
feeling? How are you feeling?
I'm fine, very well.
Good. What a pleasant surprise.
Well, I just have an interesting thought about this Dr. Fauci, this email gate scandal.
Email gate, right.
Email gate. You know what happened is in China, they don't publish anything about we demand investigation, further investigation for this Wuhan lab.
Yeah, nobody can demand anything in China, I didn't think.
No.
Right?
I mean, I'm talking about those demands and Biden demand or Trump did whatever. They never published it. They're never in the news. But interesting enough, this one was widely published in China in detail of this email. So what it's saying is they want to finger point to United States and saying we started this whole thing.
Yep, that's right. I remember that.
Just
yeah.
Got to me right now because why they don't say anything about we will finger point to them, and now this email scandal and they why publish it, everybody know, and then those things is about the English, the correspondence between Fauci and the other those experts, right? CDC, they are involved. And they're talking about the real things, talking about and the Americans and use this SARS and the AIDS and together and making this a new virus. So
wow.
That's a thought. Yeah, I don't know. They just try to do that. So we have to be very careful to really, really to investigate who really started this use as a biochemical weapon or warfare.
Yeah.
So they try to say that we are the one. USA is the one.
Well,
that's just a thought. That's I wanted to. If anybody have any opinions on that?
Right.
What's your thought?
I haven't thought about it enough. I mean, I believe that someone unleashed the coronavirus, and I think that the chances are that someone was a Chinese Communist Party person. Okay, but I suppose anything is possible. Maybe someone here did it. I don't think so, though. I don't.
I think that you think that our CDC and Fauci or anybody experts, they really co-host with CCP.
Yes, I think that is an absolute plausible possibility. I really do. Thank you for bringing that up and spelling it out for me. And asking it in that form of a question. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's put that out to other people. Do you think Fauci? You think Fauci and others here, in cahoots with him, are in cahoots with the CCP? Boy, talk about conspiracy theories, but it could be a real one. It could be a real one. It really could. Do you think we're going to get into trouble here and be canceled for talking about things like this, that certain people do not want? certainly the CCP wouldn't want us talking about this.
If you really get it deeper, and the public gonna have a big problems. That's whether you're searching for real truth.
But the truth will
Because
set us
they don't
all.
want the truth.
The truth will set us all free, and they don't want that, huh?
No.
But I do,
That's
and I know you do. So,
Yes.
all right, good. Thank you for calling, Amy. Always great to hear from you. Our next caller will be none other than Gary in Santa Cruz about Fauci. Hi, Gary in Santa Cruz about Fauci.
Good morning. Yes, Rory and also Amy and others talking about Fauci. I've renamed him Dr. Mengele.
Oh, is it that bad? Holy Christmas.
As far as I'm concerned, if there was I've said this before, and, some people got upset. If there was a firing squad, I would join it.
Wow.
As far as Fauci is concerned, I didn't like him from the beginning. I think, this is my opinion, can't prove it. I think the Fauci is a Democrat. I think the Democratic Party and the whole Democrat establishment colluded with China to put this virus in the United States so that they would have a chance of getting Trump out of office via all the changes they made with their governors regarding the election process. I can't prove it, but I'm looking at it and I'm just going, what a setup, a perfect storm, if you want to put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Do you doubt for a moment that the Democratic Party of death and destruction would not do this? If they didn't do it, they went along with it, and they took advantage of it.
I think they, more than the Republicans, subscribe to the doctrine of the means to the end. The end justifies the means.
Ends justify the
right?
means. Yes.
I haven't heard that about Republicans or about independents, but I have heard it a lot and believe it a lot about Democrats. I'm not saying they're all that way. There's some really decent Democratic people, but some of the others that I know of, like the Clintons, for example, I think they would stop at nothing, including murder. I really do. I think they would stop at nothing to get what they want. And I think there are a lot of other people like that within the Democratic Party. They're probably in all parties, but I think the Democrats are famous for that. I really do. But that's just me.
Well, they're really
if you have
bad now. I can't imagine.
If people have a different opinion, I hope they'll call 479-1080 and just be respectful, and they could say their piece that I'm, all wet or whatever. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Here's Colonel Terry about elections and reality. Maybe, go ahead, Colonel Terry, you're on.
Good morning.
Hi.
We have to, one of the reasons Western civilization made progress, if you go back and start with Aristotle and Plato, and coming forward to Voltaire and others, and the wisdom of Thomas Jefferson and Madison, etc., borrowing on the Enlightenment age, was a respect for science. The word means knowledge, means proven, demonstrated knowledge and facts. And we must respect the proven, demonstrated facts and knowledge, and apply the rules of evidence. And the rules of evidence applied to the election is dozens and hundreds of career Republican vote counters and Republican secretaries of state.
17 and onto alternate routes. So Highway 17, try to avoid that if at all possible. Heading southbound, stay off of 17. Highway 101, also slow moving in the southbound direction as you make your way through the Coyote Creek area, 30 miles per hour there. The time is now 11:06. Coming up next on your favorite radio station, it is hour 2 of the Saturday Special with your host, MZ.
No! That's the wrong jingle. This is the right jingle to play now.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO
welcome to hour number 2.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
How are you folks feeling today? Oh, shut that down. Everything's haywire. But that is so much of the charm of your favorite radio station, KSCO. Honestly, folks, ask yourselves, and do be honest with yourself. Have you ever heard a radio station with better technical difficulties than KSCO? Seriously. Okay? All right, we're going to go back to Colonel Terry, who was just starting to tell us about elections and reality. But you were on, let me ask you a personal question, Colonel Terry.
Sure.
Before the break, you got out enough of what you were going to say, and we'll let you finish, obviously. But Rory called back and wants to go at it with you. So do you have a problem with that, or should I, what do you think?
Not at all. I respect and I like Rory, but his opinions are erroneous on some topics, not all.
Oh, okay. So go ahead and finish up here, because, as quickly as you can, because here on the Saturday special, we don't want to bore people. We just want to get to the point. And I know I'm the worst person to say that, because I hardly ever do that myself.
By the way, one of the reasons I tune in to Saturday Special is to hear that lady sing the correct music. What do you reference that as?
Hour 2 intro for Saturday Special.
Do you know who she was?
Oh no, we've asked that many times over the last 30 years. It would be nice to know if we could find out if she sounds like a babe, or at least a babe when she sang it.
Well, find out if she has a granddaughter my age or younger than me.
Okay, we'll try to do that. Yeah, we haven't had any success so far learning her identity, or whether she has not expired yet.
Well, her singing is sublime, and so don't lose all the copies of that.
Oh no, that won't happen for sure.
Okay.
So you were saying you want to finish up about election. You don't think the election was stolen. You think it was legitimate, right?
I voted for Trump, and then Trump disappointed me, more than disappointed me. He committed treason with Putin and so forth.
Okay.
Say things there isn't evidence to support. And speaking of evidence, the importance of evidence, since Aristotle and Plato in the Western tradition, as I was saying, Thomas Jefferson used it, and Madison used it, and Abraham Lincoln used it, etc., is evidence that's valid, challenged, subject to cross-examination, and prevails, is the evidence we should utilize in science, in political decisions, in determining truth and justice, and so forth. And the truth and justice determinations against Mr. Trump based on the evidence are pretty awful. The truth about Trump is very, very...
Do you think he's going to end up in jail or in prison?
Look at the evidence.
No, answer the question, please.
Yes, yeah, and quite justifiably so. Plus, the Mueller thing and his involvement with Putin prior to the election of 16 and afterwards is selling out the safety of American military members, that it was okay for Putin to offer bribes to Taliban people to kill American soldiers. That's never been refuted, okay? His caving in to give Putin our military bases in Syria, that's never been refuted. The amounts of money that went from the Russians to the Trump organization for the last 20 years, those were in bribes in advance. Those are all going to come out.
Okay.
And Republicans supporting Trump will be intellectually, if not legally, very embarrassed.
Okay. Now, let me bring Rory into the conversation. Rory, welcome back to Saturday Special with Colonel Terry, who is thrilled to have you on again.
Well, the good Colonel, thank you for having having me on to debate. One thing I will say that the Russian, this is before my comments about the election and the irregularities, there was no evidence for Russian collusion. That was like studied to the nth degree. Nothing ever came of it. So, and I know you believe in evidence and the facts of evidence. There's no evidence. If that was true, Trump would have been impeached and convicted. Didn't happen. So, yes.
There was evidence, and Mueller was not able to pursue that because of the restrictions that a sitting president cannot be indicted and subject to such.
Well, wait a minute. That first of all, those are the rules. Number one. Well, not indicted. He can't be cross-examined if he doesn't want to, and he didn't want to. So there. That's just the way it is. But if there's all this evidence, they should have been able to nail him to the perch, right?
The evidence was not, number one, it wasn't allowed to be pursued, and number two, the two Senate, he was not convicted because the evidence that was presented ignored.
Terry, it was pursued for over 2 years. It was a total scam. It never had any facts to back up what their allegations
where do you see what? No, that's not true. The Mueller references were clearly factual.
If it was factual, why wasn't he absolutely convicted? He wasn't that popular.
Because the Republican majority ignored the evidence.
No.
I watched both trials, and I'm educated in the federal rules of evidence and logic and related things.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
The truth was ignored by the Republican majority in the Senate in both instances.
Half the Republican senators didn't like Trump. They just went along to get along, okay? They would have convicted him in a New York second if there was any evidence. But anyway, moving on.
Well, I'm sorry, they ignored the evidence. That's what they did, and the evidence will be reconsidered, and the new additional evidence that Mueller could not pursue will be reconsidered, and Trump will certainly be possibly subject to treason. Okay?
Please keep us in the loop. And never forget, 200 Russian mercenaries in Syria were eliminated by U.S. troops. So there's no love lost between Trump and Putin, okay? Trust me. And not only that,
Putin would sacrifice those people in a heartbeat.
The current president just reopened the Russian gas pipeline to the European countries, where Trump told him no and shut it down. He closes the Keystone, but he opens up the Russian gas pipeline. I mean, there's your evidence. But anyway, let me get to one critical point. Now, you're right, in these different states that had Republican leadership, they reran the votes. That's all they did. They did not conduct a forensic audit. They just ran them through the voting machines again. So you do it again, you're going to get the same results. But get this, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. One little snippet. On Thursday, November 5th at 9:09 a.m., a large batch of 9,022 mail absentee votes gets added to the vote count. That's over 95% support for Biden. But the total votes in Montgomery County only went up by 9,534, implying that in-person votes actually went down by 80,488. On its own, this is a very strange irregularity, as ballots cannot disappear, and in-person ballots cannot become mail ballots. Something is wrong in the reported data.
And
the only
that
question is what?
Two Pennsylvania judges, both of whom were Republican appointees.
Doesn't matter. No forensic audit has been done. The forensic audits need to be done. What are you afraid of a forensic audit like they're doing in Maricopa County, Arizona?
If
it's true, we'll find out. An audit's an audit. Okay? What happens if you get audited by the IRS?
Very different. Now.
No, an audit's an audit, Terry. Come on. We all play by the same rules. It's called evidence.
Right, and the evidence was presented by the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania, a Republican.
No, Pennsylvania? That's Shapiro. That's not a Republican. It doesn't matter. They should be, any SOS in any state should be impartial. They should welcome an audit. It's an audit of their work. The The only job of a Secretary of State is to make sure that the vote process is conducted with integrity. Okay? Screw this transparency crap. It's called integrity and honesty. All your cards on the table. And when the vote was being tabulated in these various, especially in Pennsylvania and Detroit, they kept Republican observers out. What's that all about?
I don't know that.
So they couldn't see.
But even
It's
if it
on
happens,
video.
they've been offered to
Go look at it.
recount everything in Michigan and in Pennsylvania.
What's that?
And they did the recounting consistent with what Republican judges required, and they found 3 times in both jurisdictions Trump lost. Consistent with...
Was it a forensic hand recount, Terry? Answer the question.
He lost also consistent with the vote.
Was it a forensic hand recount? Did they recanvass the vote? Did they do a forensic audit in Michigan?
I don't know, but they did what was
I do know. I do know.
They did what
Terry.
was satisfactory to 3 Republican judges.
Well, that doesn't matter what the judges think. It's actually up to the state Senate in each state. Did you know that? They're the ones that oversee the vote, according to the Constitution.
And the
Thomas
Republican
Jefferson
state Senate
helped write.
Has ignored the facts and not shown a respect for the evidence. Fine, recount every effing, and you'll still see.
Hey, Terry, let's see. Let's start with Maricopa County in Arizona. Let's see what they come up with, and then we'll move on and we'll see what the various states do. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that smell something's rotten in Denmark. So thanks for letting me engage you. I appreciate it.
Happy
you're a good sport.
Okay.
And we'll listen. I'll take the rest off the air. Take care, MC. Thank you.
Okay. Now here's Angel and Salinas again about Colonel Terry.
Yeah. Okay. I've been listening to Colonel Terry for a long time, and
you like
I'm
or
sorry,
you no
but
like?
He's no like. Drank the Kool-Aid.
No.
Dude drank the Kool-Aid. Okay.
You're both
but-
on, by the way,
but-
so you can.
I know. I've got some things to say there. I also wanted to tell you one other thing about Fauci. I forgot. Very important point. Connect the dots. It was either Obama or under Bill Clinton that he was appointed. Connect that dot too. Okay. Now, going on, because you know I worked with the Trump campaign. Now, look. This whole thing with Mueller. Now we got to go back to Comey. Then we got to go back to Hillary Clinton paying for this fake dossier from Christopher Steele and Russia and all this stuff. And who was in collusion with Russia? Well, gee, that would be Hillary selling 20% of our enriched uranium through the Uranium One deal to who? Russia. Okay? And what's Biden doing, who works under Obama, okay, who has now opened a pipeline to Russia but shutting ours down? So, collusion. Russia, they are in bed with Russia. You got pictures of schmucky Schumer, Chuck Schumer, in New York having a coffee or a donut or something like that with Putin when he came in. There are all these things, and you've got her smiling with Putin also. You've got all the Democrats with Putin, not Trump. He was tough on him. Now, as far as Comey goes, Comey found Hillary Clinton, okay, innocent of all her stuff before anything ever came up. But they found, before there were any witnesses or anything, okay, and allowed her to destroy her laptops and everything. But on the other hand, they found Trump guilty before they had any evidence of anything, and they found, and Mueller was also, I won't say in agreement. There's another word for that, but he was knowing about the Uranium One deal when that went through. Also, those filthy people are all connected. So you can't say that's evidence. That's fake evidence. I can come up with something that's fake, and then people can say that's true, but it's not true unless you find the evidence. And they worked on this for years. But if we want to connect the dots, there's a lot more dirty going on. And I'm sorry, Colonel Terry, that you are so fooled by these people. But you got to stop stating things as though it's fact. And if you were actually a colonel in the military, really, shame on you. Because what you're doing and going along with these Democrats is harming America. Shame on you. My father was Army. My grandfather was in the military. Our family goes back as patriots and military for a long time. And what you are doing is selling us out under their propaganda. And people have to be really sharp, and they have to know and go back and not just, oh, the evidence, the evidence. No, you have to connect the dots also and see what's going on here. And it's not conspiracy theory. It's actual fact. And why she was never put in prison. Well, Comey and then Obama gave her a walking paper, okay? That's why she got away with it, along with other people. There's a lot more that there's no time for on this today, but you got to stop. Because you act as though everything you say is official and fact, and
Okay,
it's not.
let poor
And we
Colonel
all know
Terry
it.
talk. Okay, go ahead, Terry.
Madam, I will not disagree that the Clintons are also guilty of criminality, treason with China, and related things. And all of the evidence against the Clintons that has been demonstrated is factually true. In fact, I know some I can't talk about because it's classified. The Clintons are also, I despise them. However, I also despise Donald Trump because he has demonstrated treason against the United States.
He has not. He has absolutely not. And as far as the Mueller thing came from the dossier that Clinton paid for. So if you know she's corrupt, then you know that dossier, that Mueller, okay, and all those that are connected together were trying to put forward, and he wouldn't come up with a definitive at the end because I think he got a conscience at the end. Okay, and he says, I can't do this. No. But you should know, then, that is all corrupt. Her dossier with Christopher Steele and all the lies came from her and the Clintons' corruption and their tactics that they always use, the Saul Alinsky tactics and everything else that have been used this entire time, along with Obama. And he moved, 4 blocks away from the White House? Like, he's not still involved in all this nonsense? But no one can say that President Trump committed treason. He did everything he could for this country, and he still is. This is a lie. This is your opinion, and this is a lie.
He pulled our troops out of our positions that cost us several thousand lives and $1 billion in Syria. Let the Russians come into them. Hello?
Hello, you're there. Everybody's still there.
Come into them. That was an act of treason against the United States, our position, and treachery to the Americans who lost their lives.
So wait a minute. When Hillary Clinton pulled out boots on the ground so that ISIS could be formed, and all the people that they crucified and chopped heads off and drowned alive in cages underwater, she wasn't committing treason and selling 20% of our enriched uranium, which we don't have that much of, to, of all people, Russia? Are you kidding? That's not treason? Or any of the other things she did.
Angel, I've heard Terry say that the Clintons are pieces of bleep, you know, and that they did commit treason.
But he's sitting there and saying that Trump committed treason when he killed the head of ISIS, the second in command, the top terrorist in the world, that general in Iran. Okay, he dropped the mother of all bombs as one of the first things he did. Collapsed the tunnels and killed 98 ISIS fighters with one blow, without killing any civilians or any of our men and women to protect them, because they were using those tunnels to sneak back up on our men and women in the military. So don't think people don't know the truth, Colonel Terry, because we do. Well, you're coming off with some talk about conspiracy theories. This is all coming from a point of hatred. You need to reset yourself. Okay, before you wreck yourself, because what you're doing is you're just peddling propaganda, and it angers me as a family member of military and someone who is a patriot, and Trump is a patriot, because the two of us, I've met him, okay, and I've spoken to him in length, and that man loves America. I will tell you that right now. Shame on you. Shame on you trying to use your title of colonel or anything else to try and peddle this propaganda. You're a liar or you're fooled. One of the two. You're either naive or you're a liar. Which is it?
Madam, I think you've been fooled terribly to support Trump.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Because we knew all this information about Fauci years ago, and now it's just starting to come out as well. So, no, I'm very well informed. Thank you very much. So don't talk to me as madam. Don't talk down to me. I'm a very intelligent woman. Plus, I was a medic, okay? Plus, I have a degree. So please, please don't try and talk down to me. We have this. Rory has this. The people of America have this. And you would be not welcome in a lot of circles with the propaganda. You are a Democrat, and you are lying about who you are.
No,
you
I'm
are
not a
propaganda peddling under
wrong.
some false. You are well. Okay, you can register as Republican or anything you want, even though underlying you're a Democrat. But you are doing nothing. And I've listened to you show after show after show after show, and you are irritating. Because I listen to the propaganda you're peddling, and you are either fooled, delusional, or you will not face the truth.
No,
and I don't know which it is. But we see you for what you are. Enough is enough. You irritate a lot of people because of your lies.
Well,
that's it. I have nothing more to say, Michael.
Well, listen to what he's been trying.
He's
been trying to respond.
I've been
to you.
listening to him for a long time.
Well, listen to him a little more.
My views are based on facts and evidence, based on information supported by valid
Here we go again.
Analysis. And having, yes, a high IQ and a high education, but also experience at knowing how Washington functions and knowing how corrupt, yes, the Clintons were, and how corrupt many politicians are in both parties. I am not a registered Democrat, Angel or whatever.
Well, you're peddling propaganda regardless, because you must be listening to CNN and MSNBC, because if you had ever listened to the truth behind what's really going on, you just aren't getting this. You are getting what they're throwing in front of you. I don't know why you believe that nonsense to begin with, because honestly, if they had that solid of a case, they would have had him a long time ago. It would have been irrefutable, and our side would have taken him down too. Trust me. We would have taken him down too if this was the fact. Because for you to accuse Trump of this, you're not only insulting Trump, you're insulting 80 million people in this country who voted for him and believe in him, okay? Just by your one opinion. No.
But he does have a right to it, Angel.
Everybody's got one. You know, that's all I can say. And you know what they say. You make out of you and me. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. Now here's Wendell in Reno who wants to talk to Colonel Terry also. Go ahead, Wendell.
I just want to say as strongly as I can that your last caller was 100% right on. This guy is not only irritating, he loves to hear himself talk. He thinks he's a Mr. Know-it-all. And Rory...
Well, he does have a very high IQ.
Well, my experience with people who boast about their IQ is they lack common sense. And I'll tell you something. This guy is obnoxious. He likes to hear his voice. He likes to call up the radio show like it's his own program. And Rory really won that debate, hands down.
Okay. Do you have any response to that, Colonel Terry?
I'll be happy to have a debate with an independent audience sometime. We'll based on evidence. I call in because I feel that truth and justice and accuracy and wisdom, informed, educated wisdom, could be respected in our national dialogue, of which KSCO is a portion of that, in our national conversation. And the failure to respect wisdom gives us things like Richard Nixon being president, okay? But removed him. Respect for wisdom and justice. Now, so I observed in Washington up close at the White House and Capitol Hill the ludicrous and corrupt Republican Party and the similarly ludicrous and left-wing lunatics in the Democratic Party. Both parties have ideological extremes that are bad for the country and that are misinformed. They also have corrupt people in them.
Right. Okay. All righty. Well, so thank you. And thank you, Wendell in Reno. And Terry, thanks for calling and waiting. And we had you on for half of this hour. But anyhow, we got a lot of other callers we want to let go. And not everyone has something to say about you. But thank you for calling 479
But
10.
MC, have you sold the station?
No, but we're working on a deal now here, and I think we're getting very, very close.
So you've identified a prospective bidder. Good.
Yes, yeah, and we're gonna do our best to hold the family together here.
All right. Okay. Well, best to you and all the staff.
Thank you very much, Terry. Appreciate it. And thank you, Wendell. And now let's talk to Steve in Pacific Grove.
Thank you, Mike. Glad I could come in at this juncture. You know, Colonel Terry is a former Pentagon employee. I think everyone should know that. He's not drinking the Kool-Aid, he's pushing it. Anyway, my opinion of the election is this. The FBI and the CIA and the Pentagon rigged the voting machines, and that's why there's no evidence to be shown. And we are now paying the consequence of this Soviet-style result with hacking that the Russian government is doing against our infrastructure. This is the price we pay when we buy the big lie. The real big lie is that this election was legitimate. And the people who stole it are trying to say that the big lie is that it wasn't. People like Colonel Terry cannot be trusted. He badmouthed the John Lennon man, and that's right there a red flag for everyone. We are paying the price for a Soviet-style takeover of our vote this time, and that's why Biden is easy pickings for the Russians. They know that he's just an old fuddy-duddy. He's not going to stand up to them. If I was the president, I would literally sever all ties to Russia. This is war, Russia. Everything between us is over until you are crippled. But Biden's not going to do that. Trump might have done what I just suggested. And as much of a narcissist as Trump is, and he's got problems, he's still the man we voted for, whether anyone has the balls to face up to that or not.
The second time around?
What was that?
The second, you think he should be the president now, or do you think the election was stolen? I'm asking you that.
Well, I think the election was stolen by the FBI and the CIA and the Pentagon, yes. I think they rigged the voting machines, and they own the media, so there you go. You know, they're going to brainwash us with a big lie.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your call. Here's Don in Salinas about Biden and Russia. Don, you're on.
Yeah. You know, let me explain myself. I'm a simple man. I did not learn my enlightened thinking at the feet of the Dalai Lama and assorted Greek and French philosophers. I'm an American. I look at facts and figures that Colonel Terry has a blind eye to. In Biden's first 100 days, he did more for Russia than Trump did in 4 years. He lifted sanctions on a pipeline to Germany so that Russia can be enriched. He raised prices on fossil fuels, which enriches Russia. He said he was going to send ships into the Black Sea, and Putin said, oh, hell no, you're not, and he didn't. Biden has done nothing against Russia and everything for Russia. He even allowed Russia and China to have a meeting without raising anything against it, saying that this is a horrible thing. Two communists are trying to collude with each other against America. He didn't say a damn word against it. Now, here's Trump. He put missiles in Eastern Europe against Russia. He armed Ukraine against Russia. He gave Poland a natural gas deal to fight against Russian natural gas, which hurt Russia. Colonel Terry, you're the master and commander of facts and figures. What the hell has Biden done to hurt Russia?
He's not here. We hung
Oh,
up.
he's not here. Oh, sorry. He hung up.
Well, no,
Well,
I
anyways.
actually moved on here. I thought it was enough already of people. Yeah, I should have kept him on, I guess, because there are a lot of people who want to.
Yeah,
who want to put him in his place, I guess, per se.
Well,
so to
you know
speak.
you know that thing in China where they put a monkey on a little table and spin him around and they all hit him on the head with a hammer?
No, I don't know about that, but
you haven't seen that?
It sounds gruesome.
It's gruesome, but that's what you were doing with Colonel Terry.
Well, to me, I mean, I think he's a big man for being willing to, publicly on live radio debate people. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's to his
I think
credit.
so. Well, I have to think so too. The guy's got an ego the size of Texas. Yeah, that's one thing I'll say in favor of Colonel Terry. He's not afraid to be Colonel Terry. He's not afraid to put it out there.
Yep. So he definitely gets credit for that, even from you. Thank you, Don and Salinas.
Okay.
Always great to hear from you. Now, West Side Al. West Side Al, are you there?
Yeah, and see, I got to put a good word in for the Colonel. He does have some tough skin, and wow, did he get a ration?
Yeah, but now I have something for you. You would you be willing to drop the West Side Al mantle?
Anything for you, MC.
For me? Okay, well, it might be worth doing. I mean, it might be a thing that, because what I did, there are so many people who are so upset because West Side Al was a frequent caller to KSCO for years. And I took the initiative to go back into my email, and I found an email address for the original West Side Al. And I sent an email, this just on May 11th. It said, WSA, are you still around? And okay, we miss your calls on KSCO. Also, there's another West Side Al who calls frequently these days and made me think of you. Catch me up. And he answered immediately. That's sort of a long thing where he caught me up on everything. Here, he's because of report. How much of this should I read? I started calling the Noon Balloon John Muth and got friendly bomber pilot radio man. I figured it might be good to put a local flavor into the mix, so I called myself West Side Al. I'm not sure if you had bought the station yet. I've got a history with the name. Maybe you can remind your imposter. That's you. That's you.
I think, what was that guy in Leave It to Beaver? I think
Eddie Haskell.
Right. This is a case of mistaken identity.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't called the station for a while. He's gone on to other things. I don't know if he listens occasionally, but he did take the time to answer my email because he does have the same email address that he had years ago. And I worry about these things because, people who listen to talk radio and participate a lot and then they're not there anymore, what's the natural thought that would go through anybody's head? That they had expired, right? Because that's what older people do. And older people are largely the audience of KSCO. Why do you think, that's why the call letters are KSCO, keeping senior citizens occupied, right?
Aye.
Okay.
Nice.
So anyhow, you are willing to relinquish the title West Side Al and come up with another name for yourself, right?
Cool.
Because you're upsetting a lot of people, I could tell you.
No problem. Call me anything but late for lunch.
Okay, very good. So let's see. Do you want to? Is there? You called for a particular reason, or did you take care of that already?
No, I actually did call for particular reasons, but you know what? You can call me Alan. That's my name.
Okay.
No problem. It's my real name. Okay. While I can talk to you, I wanted to know, because Sleepy John talked a little bit about ASCAP, and I thought, God, let me ask MZ, has he ever had to deal with them? And I figured, well...
Oh, we pay hundreds of dollars a month to ASCAP because the first year I owned the radio station, they kept sending me bills, and I said, this is ridiculous. This is a talk radio station, and I'm not going to pay these bills. So they sued me, and they wrestled me to the ground, and they got me to understand that it's just the way it is. You can be a talk radio station and you still have to pay music licensing fees, not only to ASCAP, but to BMI and to CSAC. It's horrendously expensive, and I call it highway robbery. I really do. But there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a little guy. If I want to stay in business, I have to pay the highway robbery, and I do, and have. And I'm not going to do it for much longer because I'm not going to be responsible for any of this crap much longer. That's why that's part of many reasons why I'm leaving a wonderful, an otherwise wonderful radio station. The laws and the requirements and what it takes to have a small business remain in business in the state of California is something that I will not put up with, especially in my older age where I might not have much time left. To hell with it all. If I can continue to have my little ego radio show, the Saturday special, this program, I will. And if I can't, so what? I'm not going to die, I don't think. You know, who knows? But anyhow, yeah, music, that is a sore subject, is music licensing fees. It's true. Because we could pay a lot more than we do if we were a music station, you know. But I don't think we should have to pay anything. But we do.
Exactly, MG. I thought that it was a hustle because they jacked us up out there at a gig in Hawaii, literally shut the gig down because the owner didn't want to pay them. And then the owner couldn't pay the musicians. So we were all...
What's the bully with the lunch money? I mean, that's what the music licensing committees are, is in my humble opinion. You know, and it's going to be so cool to not have to pay that highway robbery money, you know, when I'm out of this. And it's not going to be too much longer. And the people who take it over, they're going to have to pay it too. And if they want to stay in the radio business, they're going to have to live with the laws of the state of California that are killing small businesses. And they wonder why small businesses are leaving in droves. They wonder why the population is leaving in droves. I guess California still has great climate, and I guess that's probably what's keeping the people here. But as a place to do business, it absolutely sucks. And people who continue to do business in California had better be friggin' astronomically wealthy, because that's what you have to be. You have to be a big company to be to continue to do business in California. That's my humble opinion. Yes, it sounds pretty bitter, and yes, I am, but I was ready to retire anyhow. It's been 30 years of pouring out your heart and soul to give to set an exemplary radio broadcast station to a wonderful community is enough.
I'm so glad I asked, and thank you for making us all aware. And I'll end it with, I think I know who sang that jingle or who it reminds me of.
You're kidding? Who?
Well, actually, to be truthful with you, I don't know if I should say it, but I think it's a local girl.
No, it's not. I can tell you that for sure. It was some, there was a, the old, we even have the old 1/4-inch tape, you know, that has the original jingles on it, of which that was one. And it's from the Pepper Jingle Company in Dallas, Texas in the 1950s. That's where it came from. So it wasn't a local person for sure.
Well, you know who it reminded me of, though, was Mae West, because of the sexy voice.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Doesn't it sound
I've never heard, maybe, but I've never heard Mae West sing. I think she's amazing, but I never heard her sing.
Actually, I heard her a little bit on a DVD. Pretty good. I was surprised. And, you know, she does have the way that the lady sings that last line of I Gotta Go, the way she says, very...
Bye. Yeah.
Sexual. Yeah, that's the one. So that's a great jingle.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, and sorry for my rant here, but that's how I feel. Here's John in Pasadena, business in California. Hey, John, you're on.
Hey, thanks, Mike Zwerling. Would you do us all a favor? What you just alluded to, I would love if you went over point by point. Not right now talking to me, because I think you would need to do some
Maybe I'll do a commentary or something, right before I sign off. That might be the thing to do.
Yeah, every point you can think of, just everything. Have someone sit you down in front of the lights on a chair and give you the third degree.
Great, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. Then what? Do you think it's going to make any difference at all?
Yes.
What? Absolutely. How could you say that you think we're much more influential than we are?
No. There are lots of people out here that are fighting mad, in the best sense of fighting mad, but we got to know what we're fighting, okay? The city council, counties, the state assembly, state senate, on and on and on. We got to know what it is we're fighting, because it's pissing you off to the point that plus old age. I don't mean that in a bad way. You sound like a pretty young, whatever age you are, but it's you're out of there, okay? But we need good businesses, and we need.
They're all being flushed. They're all being flushed down the toilet by the state of California.
I'm retired after 40 years. There's Haas. They make machine tools. They're in Camarillo. I've been to their facility. It's acres and acres and acres. It's a wonderful place. It's a homegrown California business. And Edelbrock makes parts for engines, carburetors, and stuff like that. There's people out here that want to fight for the Golden State, and there's a reason it was called the Golden State. And we need.
I assume they will vote for the recall of Gavin Newsom. I assume that they can. That's a good tangible way for them to fight. So.
I know, and I've looked at the. It's easy to look up. I looked at the California.gov, the information on a recall, and it's 2 questions on that ballot. One's going to be, you get rid of this guy or not? Yes, no. Okay, and if no wins, there's another thing right there on that ballot that says if so and so above, Gavin Newsom in this case, is no, then who among these people you want to finish out his term? Okay, it's that list of who among these people that's critical. Last time we got rid of Gray Davis and we got Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger was tough guy when silence on the set. Okay, and that's tough guy Schwarzenegger or pumping iron or whatever the hell he did.
Yeah.
But when he got pushed a little bit in the political arena, then he just left.
He was kind of a milquetoast, as he turned out.
We don't need that again, and we don't need our vote divided. We need to have an informal.
What we need is a guy like Trump to take over the governorship of California. But look what he'll be fighting. Both houses of the legislature, the state legislature.
Well, then the next thing we do is change the houses of the legislature. But the next governor to fill out old Newsom's term is going to be a name on that list, and we can't have our vote split. We got to decide before that ballot is set up. We got to decide who it is to take Newsom's to finish out his term, and then we got to settle on that guy and not split our vote. We got to put our vote to that guy so that guy wins. I could see the people that I don't like funding really good people. Like, here's 3 people. Boy, any one of these 3 could be a fantastic governor, and they'll fund the hell out of them, and they'll split the vote, and then they'll get some yahoo worse than Schwarzenegger slipping in because 3 good guys looked really good, and some votes went here and there and there, and it split the vote. We got to have an informal primary of sorts among ourselves. I don't know what to say or how to describe it exactly, and pick a guy, get that guy on the ballot, and put our votes behind him so that that person can finish out Newsom's term. And then that person will be in a good position even to run on his own or her own.
Yeah.
But yes, there have to be somebody with a lot of fight in them. But there's people out here that are ready to fight.
I don't know of anybody who has the fight in him that Trump does, and look where it got him.
Hey, he hasn't quit fighting, and we haven't quit fighting.
Okay, well, good. I'm happy to hear that. I hope it's true.
You could do us all a favor by itemizing your list and telling us, promulgating your list of the terrible things. I know people that have left California but we need to fight back on those things. So we need to know what we're fighting against. So please make a list and promulgate it. That's all I got to say.
All right, John in Pasadena, thank you very much for calling 479-1080. Nancy and Carmel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, MZ?
Well, my ears.
You all right?
No, I put the volume up. The volume for the last call had to be high, but you're so loud that I think I'm deaf now, because I didn't turn the volume down. It's not your fault. It's just the way I'll blame technology. Anyhow, how are you and what's new?
Well, I had a record store for 40 years.
Yeah,
and we were
sort of
never
remember
charged.
that. Yeah.
We were never charged one day of our life because we sold the music. So how dare they charge us for doing their bidding, right? So that we weren't charged because we were part of the machine.
Well, these are performance rights organizations. Ask PMI.
I understand, because we were in a shopping center where there were restaurants, and they would always complain to me about how they had to be charged if they were playing the simple radio over there. Even just playing the radio, they'd be charged.
I got it. Yeah.
So I think it's all crap myself too. I agree with you, but it's all in.
I can't fight it, and I learned that. That's one of the first things I learned.
Well, it's to protect the artists, and they need to be protected. I get that.
I agree with that, but it's like labor unions. I think most labor
right, but
most of the
here's
money
my
that
solution.
Okay, good.
Because I'm not a person who likes to bitch, piss, and moan. I like to get to the answer.
Okay, good.
And the answer is, you just call up somebody like me who makes music on my own but doesn't publish.
Yeah.
And have them do your buffer. Because who cares what music you're playing in the bumper part?
Okay.
Then it's free. It's unpublished. It cannot be sued because it's unpublished.
Right.
And there are so many fantastic musicians in our area
who would love the exposure,
Right. Or maybe just loves you and doesn't want you to be hurt anymore by the ASCAP people. So they just, out of the kindness of their heart, because musicians usually have huge hearts. So, that's my opinion.
I don't know the exact amount offhand, but I think it's around $1,000 a month that we have to pay.
That's unbelievable. It's just insane.
Yeah, for years and years and years and years.
So does that mean that the supermarkets do that too? When they play Muzak, they have to pay $1,000 a month? I doubt it.
And restaurant. Well, I'm just telling you, and I could be wrong. Maybe it's $800. Maybe it's $1,200. I don't know.
Well,
but
whatever it is, it shouldn't be anything.
I agree with you. It shouldn't be anything, but it's a cost.
They ought to be getting a kickback from the sale, because there's going to be people saying, "Ooh, I like that song. I'm going to go buy it."
Yeah. So I don't know. I learned
it's the opposite.
Early on that I can't fight it, even though I'm a talk radio station. I can't.
But you can fight it with my solution if you care. But
that's true. But I'll pass.
There's always an answer.
I'll pass that along to the new people running the place. So.
Yeah, I know they like they like to pick their bumper music for their shows. I understand that too. But if they want that music, make your hosts pay the dues.
Okay. All right. There's all kinds of things.
I don't know. Do
you know that it's illegal, and I run the risk of being a felon, to have a host who wants to be a volunteer and refuses to accept money? It's against the law in the state of California for me, and I run the risk of becoming a felon by putting somebody on the air.
I would fight that. I'd fight that to the Supreme Court. I can't believe that's true.
It is honest to God true. Honest to
God. Well, what do you call your interns? What do you call your
illegal
interns?
too. The more I talked, the more I said, well, we've been having people will give anything to train to get into the radio business, and that's where we've all for 30 years. That's where we've hired all our people from the ranks of interns.
Right.
Because
And you've been illegal all those years?
All these years, and I'm lucky that I'm not in prison. Really.
So you're a felon, but you haven't been charged.
I could become a felon. Certainly if I continue doing things after having had my nose shoved in this.
I don't believe it. I'm going to sue them. I'm going to sue because I don't believe that.
You use the rest of your life to have negative energy. I ain't going to do that. It is what it is, and
yeah, but you shouldn't accept it.
Okay.
Some things you just should not accept.
That's easy for you to say. If I don't accept it, then I go to prison. It's as simple as that.
But you're still using interns, so you haven't accepted.
Oh, no, we're not. We're not using interns. No, we stopped using interns.
You have to pay every single person now?
Minimum wage or minimum salary. Yep. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Well, there's got to be a program, I would assume, through universities or something where people are not necessarily paid from the get-go.
There might be a way around it if we become a 501c3 nonprofit.
Oh, brother. No, don't do that.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm not going to do anything because I'm out of here real soon, like a matter of weeks, So
I know, and you're going to send me a postcard wherever you go.
All right. Thank you, Nancy and Carmel.
Love you, MZ.
Bless you. Thank you. Mark in Santa Cruz, you're on.
I can almost guarantee in a few years you'll be kicking yourself in the tail, wishing you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. Who knows? You may go down in history as the Benedict Arnold of the 21st century, a traitor to freedom.
Oh, okay.
Destiny will tell.
Okay. Well, he hung up. He didn't even want to talk. What a terrible thing. I was attacked. Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen, don't you think I and our staff have done a wonderful job in the last 30 years of being a voice for everyone? Don't you think? And that last caller, I can't believe my ears, what he just said. You give and give and give and give and give and give and give. And then when you get tired of giving because you want to live out the rest of your life in peace, then you're a Benedict Arnold. Holy Christmas. Holy Christmas. Holy Christmas. Do you agree, Dave Michaels?
That blows me away, but there's people of all stripes out there.
This is what you're walking into.
I
Sure
know.
you want to?
No.
Okay. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. KSCO Santa Cruz.